When we start our spiritual journey, certainly we have a destination in mind, but it's often the purpose of the journey that changes in the middle. Hi, this is Barry Phillips with 10-Minute Torah, day number 1, a Torah portion Vayetzi. This is where things really began to get interesting at another level for the life of Yaakov. We began in Bereshit, chapter number 28, and we start reading with verse 10. And Yaakov went out from Beersheba and went toward Haran. Verse 1 of the Torah portion. Let's pause there. Let's clean up a few things here. Number 1, let's remember that Yaakov and Esau have basically created a family civil war between themselves. Yaakov has entered into his father Yitzchak's room, taken a blessing that Esau was really counting on. Esau's the character who says, I will repent when it's necessary. I'm destined for blessing. I'm destined for favor. I'm the firstborn, so therefore it's owed to me. And no matter what happens in my life, when it's really important, I'll repent. I'll make teshuvah. We'll get it all straightened out, and then I'll get the blessing, and things will go on the way they're supposed to. Yah does not listen to that kind of a heart. Yah's not impressed. And he knew that Yaakov, though an imperfect man, was the better choice between the two and had already predestined, even at the womb, that it would be Yaakov who would receive the blessing. What that says is it's not saying that these two men had no choice, that they had a decreed path that they had to follow, but rather even at conception, Yah knew the difference between the two and who would be the one that would walk after his commands. The second thing is clarify. Let's go back into chapter number 27. Rivka says, stay with him, that is, stay with my brother Lavan. This is in verse number 44. Stay with him a few days until your brother's wrath turns away, until your brother's displeasure turns away from you and he forgets what you've done to him. Wait a minute, Mom, whose idea was it for me to dress up like my brother and go in and fool my dad? Rivka had to know that there would be some animosity going on here, but the risk was worth it. The end result had to be accomplished. In her mind, she says, a few days. It's not going to take that long. He'll forget about it. You know your brother. He'll be off on some other venture, and you can come back home. She had no idea it would be over 20 years. 20 years. So her baby, he's in his 60s at this point, but Yaakov is her baby, and he's leaving home. And so we come down to this understanding that Yitzchak agrees, son, it's time for you to leave home. You need to get over to Haran. You need to figure out what's going on over there. Find you a wife. We'll deal with this here at the home front. He blesses Yaakov even further and sends him on his way. What does Esau do? Toward the end of last week's Torah portion, verse 6 of chapter 28, and Esau saw that Yitzchak had blessed Yaakov and sent him away to Padam Aram to take himself a wife from there, and that as he had blessed him, he gave him a command saying, do not take a wife from the daughters of Canaan. That's what Esau had done. Rivka has remarked, if my son Yaakov sticks around here and takes one of these women out of Canaan the way that Esau has done, my life will be valueless, worthless, and it'll all be for nothing. So Yaakov had obeyed his father and his mother and had gone to Padam Aram, and Esau saw that the daughters of Canaan did not please his father Yitzchak. He finally got a clue how self-absorbed this man was, that he did not realize that his wives were an antagonism and a problem to his parents. So he went to Ishmael, a family member, and took Mahalath, the daughter of Ishmael, Abraham's son, the sister of Nebaioth, to be his wife besides the wives that he had. He didn't get rid of the wives that were a problem. He just added one from Ishmael. Oh, how we sometimes try to fix things. So here is the scene. Yaakov is now on his way to a life-changing encounter. He knows his destination is to find Lavan and family. He knows that there is a wife for him among the family there somewhere. He doesn't know who she is. He doesn't know what she looks like. He has no clue. So he's on this great adventure. He doesn't realize that the purpose of this journey is not just to find a wife. While that is important, it is the man Yaakov that has to be changed and refined. If you discern a call of Yah on your life, it may be to stand in front of people and preach and teach. It could be in the area of music. It could be in the gift of helps by some means. Someone behind the scenes. Whatever your purpose, whatever Yah is directing you to, however this thing is that is probably pursuing you more than you're pursuing it. When you encounter this, it's not just about getting the job done, but it's also about, and sometimes even more importantly, about you being perfected by your calling. When I went idealistically into pulpit ministry while still in the church, I had these grandiose ideas about how the crowd would respond, and the pastors standing in line to have me come and preach in their congregations. I had no idea. I had no clue. I didn't understand what it would be like to be alone and on the road. I didn't know the pain it would be to pull out of a driveway and leave my wife and our babies behind. I didn't understand church folk. I came from a church that pretty much was solid and people got along and did pretty well for the most part, as far as I knew. I had no idea the reality of what was outside my vision of church. Getting into Hebrew roots, again, it was a grandiose thing. We're going to be Israel focused. We're going to be learning Hebrew. We're going to be doing these feasts. It's all going to be wonderful. I had no idea. And I don't know that I still have any idea where Yah is taking us and the purpose of the journey and the refining. And I don't want to paint a picture that says that it's all pain and disgruntlement and disappointment and abrasiveness. Those things are a part, but there's also the mile markers, those moments where you get a clue. We've just passed a place and a moment of time that is significant. We've just accomplished something that is strategic. We've just moved into a new arena. We've taken another step forward. The building of relationships, the offering of ministry, the growing together. All of these things are important. There's nothing else that I know how to say this. You have to pay your dues. You have to win some battles. You have to overcome some giants. Yaakov was about to encounter Lavan, but the first encounter that he has is with the Most High. And if we really weigh this out, as he goes to Haran, he stops off at a place. The rabbis, Rashi says, he suddenly happened upon a place. We believe that this is the Temple Mount, the future Temple Mount. He stands up a pillar there and he pours oil on it and says, this will become the house of Elohim. This encounter with the Most High should have been the most significant and important moment of his life. It's here that he receives the Bekira, the covenant-favored blessing of being the carrier of the lineage or the seed and the inheritor of the land. We need these encounters. May Yah enable us to grow from each one. We'll pick up here tomorrow. Until then, shalom.